Okay, today we're going to be looking at the Explain Everything app. And we're going to be looking at what is it, why would you use it, what are the benefits, and of course what also are the downsides. Right, so we're going to have a look at what actually is it, what is Explain Everything. So let me see, I'll just try and give you a very quick introduction. So it is a free app that you can download. I'm just doing it like this, typing it as we go. You don't have to do it like this. You could already have it typed up and just be talking to the students about it. I'm just trying to show you that there are different ways. Download onto phone or iPad. Obviously the iPad would be the best thing to use because it's so much easier to manipulate. And then students can view presentation whenever they want and wherever. Is that spelled right? Ever. Here we go. They want. Okay, so it means that they can look at it at home. It's hopefully it's what you're trying to do, is get them to do it as homework. And this is what's called the flipped classroom. So it just means that instead of spending time in class going through all the content, doing your PowerPoints, whatever, however you're going to explain what it is we're about to talk about, you get them to do that sort of thing at home. So at least they come into class with some sort of an understanding, and they do tend to like doing it this way. So this is how I've been using it. It's a very crude version of the actual flipped classroom, but so far it seems to be working. So that's what it is. It's an app and you use it for presentation just like you can see here. Okay, so the big question, I guess, why? So why would you use this? I'm only speaking, of course, from my own experience, which hasn't been very long. I've only been using this, I guess, for about the last maybe 4 or 5 weeks. So why? Students have got some sort of understanding of what's going to be discussed in class before they arrive. So again, so we're not spending that first maybe half hour or whatever going over content. So then we can use the class time to delve into things a little bit more deeply. So we can get to the questions, get to the case studies, get to the examples more quickly than what we've been able to in the past, because maybe we've spent quite a lot of time going over keywords, key issues that they haven't really understood. I mean, I know you can ask them to read the textbook and give them some handouts to read, but my experience is they don't always do that. Some do, but not everybody does it. I found so far with this one we've done quite well, and we've had in one class 100% usage, and I think in the other class it was probably about 70%. But all up, I'm quite happy with it. Now, as you can see in this one, I prepared this especially just so I can show you what you can do with it. So if this is what you actually wanted the students to read and understand, you could say, well, the things that are important here is I'm showing you how useful this tool could be. Okay, so that's what I want you to really think about, how useful it can be. You can also prepare things that you say, okay, I want you to take note of this, and you could underline it. You could draw an arrow and say, here's what I really want you to be looking at. You could ask them to look something up. You could say, okay, you need to go to the internet and have a look at that, or you need to look it up in your textbook or case study or whatever. You might ask them to prepare an example, okay, or anything you want them to understand. You can actually highlight it in the presentation. So really, it's a talking presentation, but you get to customize it, I guess, for your students. Alright, so let's have a look now at what the benefits are of using it. Well, obviously I can only speak from my own experience, but these are some of the benefits I have found so far. First of all, upload it to YouTube, which of course we know with most students that's their preferred means of viewing, and from YouTube then what I do is I actually have been posting it onto Edmodo. So it's good that we've got Edmodo because it's something that they're already used to, so then they've just got the YouTube clip, it's embedded in Edmodo, and they just click on that and then off they go, and really everything they need is in the one place. The homework is on there as well. I usually include that as the last slide or the last part of the presentation. For ESL students, I've noticed that it's been particularly good for them. Really means that they can take their time. and get to know what the words mean, rather than, you know, in class where sometimes, of course, they look a little bit lost. So using this method, they can take their time at home and hopefully do the translations and things before they even come into class, which of course brings us to the next part, which is viewing it at home in their own time. Obviously it has to be before they get to class. I always put a due date on their course. Always tell them, you know, it has to be done by whatever date, as you would normally do. And then of course they come in and they're ready. Okay, they're ready for class discussion. We can start straight away with a discussion because everybody's done it. I use this mostly for my Year 12 classes at the moment, but I am thinking I'm going to move it to my Year 11s as well and see how that goes. It's also been good for me because it's meant that I've had to be really quite succinct as well. So no more than 5 minutes. So that's what I've been doing. And it's made me really have to concentrate on what's important and what isn't. So I'm going to end here so I can keep this short as well.